Hello everybody and welcome to Parks Bros, it's Drew here, and we have another West Coast Racers construction update thanks to our good friend John. And you can see here that tons of pieces of track are being taken over to the site, as well as more track has even showed up. Not too much really, it's only been a couple more pieces, but it's very awesome to see all of that track and all the support work that is going into this ride, and all of it is being pretty much moved over within the next month or so. At least we're pretty sure, unless some of these delays that we will talk about will be affecting the ride, which we will get into those a little later on. But make sure to go follow John on Instagram. He's got his link down in the description. Make sure to go check it out, though. He's got a lot of Planet Coaster stuff, and he goes to Magic Mountain all the time. But let's go into the park to see the most amazing update for track that we've seen in a while, and that is the fact that the first inversion has been put in. Now, technically, this is the last inversion, but it is the first inversion to go vertical, which is amazing. The curvature on this looks crazy, and I love the fact that this is going to be kind of an impromptu Top Gun stall, or even a upside down high five element. With how close these tracks are, I think it'll be really cool to have more of that interaction. But then again, this ride entirely is all about interaction with another train, which is fantastic. Yes, Twisted Colossus was supposed to be about that, but on most rides, you're not going to be able to experience that perfectly. So it's awesome to see a ride where you will be able to experience the dueling perfectly every time. But honestly, this support structure is some of the most insane I've ever seen. You can see that there is technically a bar across going horizontally holding up this entire section. So there is definitely a major gap underneath that where it will most likely be either a walkway or where the go-kart track can go through. I'm guessing it's for a walkway, though. It does seem a little far left for it to be for the go-karts. But it is crazy to see this support structure. It's honestly the most insane I've ever seen on a ride. Besides, of course, probably Space Mountain, but you never get to see that on ride anyways. But here's a look from the ground level, looking up at these new pieces of track, and I can say that the last time we looked at this, there were not as many track pieces, obviously not even as many supports. But I will tell you right now that there were, I think, 5 separate pieces of track that have been added in since our last update, which is really remarkable because it was only, I think, 3 or 4 days before this. So it's really interesting to see how the construction workers are working, where one day they put in 4 or 5 pieces of track and then they do nothing too major for a week. It's usually just prep work, and then out of nowhere, another 4 or 5 pieces of track go in, or another 4 or 5 supports, or there's 20 footers done. So it's really kind of crazy to think of the pacing of the construction of this ride so far. But it's really nice to see everything finally getting real fast. And hopefully they can keep up this pace, but we have heard some stuff and we have gotten news about some other things that might slow that process down. Now, we will talk about that probably at the end of this video, because I want to get through everything first, just construction-wise, to get that out of the way and let you guys know what's going on with the actual construction of the ride. But here's some side views, as well as some views from above of the launch track, as well as that turnaround section. This is all going into the brake run. I will actually show you a picture right now of what this looks like in the animation. I think it looks really kind of cool. It's definitely an interactive moment if the trains are in the right spots. But I'm really loving the way it's looking, and it's definitely a lot bigger than I was expecting. I mean, the track itself is huge, and it's even a lot taller than I was expecting as well. But speaking of height, you might be wondering what the last piece of track is going to be. And I'm honestly guessing one of the inversions. So we have one of the inversions done. This is the final inversion. But the 2 tallest parts of the ride are the first and second inversions. And I'm guessing these are going to be our last pieces of track. Either the corkscrew / 0G roll after that second launch, or the Top Gun stall after the first launch will be the last piece put in, because those are the 2 highest pieces of track on the ride, and those are definitely going to be the hardest to put in, especially support-wise, because you will have to worry about the spaghetti bowl section with that second inversion, but with the first inversion, you'll have to deal with a lot bigger supports. My bet is honestly towards that second inversion being the last part of the ride, because it is definitely going to be the most iconic, with two 0G roll corkscrew things going side by side around each other. I think that is definitely going to be the moment on this ride that will get the general public's attention the most, because it's just going to be so picturesque, and I can't wait to check that out for myself once this ride opens, of course. But you can see all of this support work and all the track work. It's got some lovely paint on it, and everything is pretty cleaned up. If you did not notice, underneath where the brake runs are, as well as that turn into the brake runs, you will see that there's like nothing below those pieces of track or the supports, where a week ago it was cluttered to all heck and back when they were working on this. But the entire area has been pretty cleaned out. There used to be stuff everywhere with rebar and shipment containers and a lot of just construction equipment everywhere. But it's been pretty much cleaned out completely, which is really, really cool to see. And I'm glad that they were actually able to do that, because it does make the construction process a little less cluttered, obviously, and hopefully that can speed things up more and more as construction ramps along. Now, here's the last piece of construction update I can give you, and that is the fact that the second and fourth launches are most likely at least half in as of now. So we actually got pictures from an anonymous viewer of the backstage section showing off those two launch tracks that were going in supposedly today or yesterday. We have no confirmation on it, though, whether it is fully complete or only half complete, but we do have some knowledge that the fact that those launches have been started with track work. So that's fantastic news, as well as the concrete has been finished up in those trenches. But I do want to talk about what could potentially stop those launches from being finished, as well as what could potentially stop construction for another couple days. The city of Santa Clarita, as of right now, as of recording this video, is experiencing a 10-acre brush fire that has caused the evacuation of that area, including Six Flags Magic Mountain. Now, Six Flags Magic Mountain did issue a statement out on Twitter, the fact that Magic Mountain and Hurricane Harbor were currently being evacuated just due to safety concerns with the brush fire. But we are also getting reports that because all of those roads, the access roads for Magic Mountain, as well as those major streets, have been closed off, that some guests might be potentially stuck there. So I really hope everyone is going to be completely okay. And I've got to send out my best wishes to the people of Santa Clarita, as well as the employees and guests at Magic Mountain, to make sure everyone's okay, even if it's really no danger to the people themselves. But the fact that they are evacuating that area is quite scary. I've been in that situation before, to the point where I actually had ashes falling in the car we were trying to get out of, and it took us 4 hours to drive 5 miles because there was only one access road open because there was fire at every other access road. So I know exactly what they're going through right now, and it's actually really terrifying. It seems like the apocalypse is happening, but hopefully everyone is inside and completely safe. And I'm sure Magic Mountain is doing everything in their best power to keep everyone safe, which is definitely something I count on Magic Mountain for doing. But due to the fact that Magic Mountain is having to be evacuated as of right now, this means that West Coast Racers construction will be delayed at least a couple of days. If the area is being evacuated, everyone must be completely evacuated, and this includes construction workers. And even if this fire is put out in the next 24 hours, that's still going to be at least 2 days lost on West Coast Racers construction, which really does kind of stink, but I'd rather everyone be safe. But hopefully the fire is put out ASAP and everything can get back to normal within the next week. And if anyone is watching from the actual Santa Clarita area, let me know what's going on with the fire when this video comes out. And I really hope you guys are doing well. All right, this is Future Drew from after this video was recorded, and I just wanted to let you guys know the fire has been extinguished pretty much completely, at least the fire that was threatening Magic Mountain, and it ended up getting closer to about 40 acres, which is insane to even think about. But the most insane thing was the fact that it was literally right next to Magic Mountain. We're talking within 30 feet, even maybe 50 feet of the water slides at Hurricane Harbor. It is insane. We've had some pictures posted in our Discord of it, and it's just absolutely crazy to think that fire got that close. But in the back of my head, I was always thinking, that's a lot of just bush and grass that hasn't been used for anything. But the park will be reopening tomorrow, just to let you guys know. And everyone is reportedly safe and was able to evacuate the park safely. Now, here's my only concern at the moment, with West Coast Racers at least, and that's the fact that the fire supposedly started near where that access lot is, where they are storing the supports as well as part of the track for West Coast Racers. Now, this could potentially be a huge problem if the blazes did get close enough to the supports or track, because the metal could have expanded and warped in many different ways that might make it unfixable, and that would mean we'd have to have more refabrication for supports and track, which is just no good, and it would really stink if that's the case, but we won't really know until around tomorrow at least. We will most likely be having another update just to see what happened with those pieces of supports and track. Hopefully no damage was really done, and hopefully if there was a little bit of damage, it is completely fixable in-house. But it is just another thing that's happened to this ride that is just completely unfortunate. And if any major damage was done, it would not surprise me if we don't see a 2019 opening. But anyways, I will probably have a different video talking about what happened today later on in the week. But for now, let's go to me in the past. Racers construction update, as well as an update on the brush fire that's happening in Santa Clarita right now. And I do want to thank John very much for getting this footage to us. It means a heck of a lot that he films for us. And I do want to let you guys know, if you've watched all the way till the end of this video, I will be having a meetup with Theme Park Obsession and myself at Magic Mountain in the next month's time. Hopefully by the end of June. We're still trying to figure out a date, but it will definitely be happening sooner than later. I will say that right now. But I just want to thank you guys for watching yet again. It really means a lot. And make sure to subscribe if you have not, because we will have tons of West Coast Racers updates until this ride is open. But of course, as always, we'll see you on the next ride.